Welcome to the press conference reaction on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel powered by InsideTexas.com. I'm Joe Cook. That's Evan Leith. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Inside Texas. Use that first link in our description. Sign up for just $1 signing day, the rest of the season, whatever comes after the season. It's going to be a lot of fun over at Inside Texas. So make sure you sign up. First link in our description. And Evan, we're at the point of the year where Texas is 7-3. Playoffs are on life support. Plug may be pulled. Body may still be alive. We'll see if they plug it back in. There's no definitives. But the reason Texas is in this position is because of a lot of different things that have just been recurring problems over the course of mostly this season.
Yeah, the entire season there's been problems on the offensive line, and we saw it come back around in this Georgia game when the 2 games prior seemed like there had been some Band-Aid fixes, but more problems in the interior again, which led to the run game again not having as much success, which Sarkisian did say he was overall pretty happy with how the run game went, and a lot of that had to do with kind of having to abandon it late in the game. But they didn't do it a lot early in the game either. A lot of passing was part of that, which led to drops, which was another recurring problem for this Texas team. But more than anything, the one he touched on was the penalties, Joe. And kind of just at some point, you made the analogy like a shortstop lets the ball go through his legs. He knows the ball went through his legs, but at some point, there's something that's missing with this Texas team because these penalties continue to happen as much as Sark says that he emphasizes them in practice. They continue to show up. They continue to kind of rear their ugly head in the biggest moments of these games, and no more obvious than against Georgia, Joe.
Yeah, and you know what? If you're playing in front of 92,000, I'm good for a false start or two. It stinks, but when you have repeated holdings, and yes, at a certain point, like is it a penalty of commission or what's procedural? You're going to be fine with some of the penalties of commission. But like at the same time, like we have, I didn't bring his name up in the question, but we all see it. Warren Roberson's been flagged 8 times over the past 2 years, and he was flagged twice again in this game. Actually, I think one of them was on Anthony Smith, but could have been on Warren Roberson. He false started too. Like that's somebody who they view as an essential special teams guy. I think is on every unit, but still committing penalties, costing his team yards, cost the Ryan Niblett return. That really would have changed a lot at that point of the game. And, it's like, okay, we're going to handle them internally. We're going to handle them at practice. It's not translating. And I think he even acknowledged that it's not translating, got to make tough decisions. That's kind of the furthest he's gone in talking a little bit behind the curtain on what they do. And I know Warren Roberson is someone that they do trust enough to be in that third down package that they rolled out. But, like, when you're costing your team over 100 yards over the course of these past 2 seasons, something's got to change, or at least something has to feel like it's got to change. We'll see what Sark does, and then you go to the rest of the team. Holding's holding, it happens, but it's happened a lot, and false starts happen. It's just part of playing on the road. It's just happened a lot, and so much of what Sark says like they do just has not really been able to translate it to the product we get to see on Saturdays.
Yeah, one of the things we were saying off the camera, Joe, and it's unfortunate that sometimes with these teams that are kind of just on the cusp of elite, like you think of last year's Texas team, there's a few really solid things that you fix these 1-2 things, your problems are gone, and suddenly you're competing at a higher echelon. I don't think that's what we're talking about with this Texas team. I think Sarkisian kind of acknowledged it and hinted at it that, yeah, this offense just isn't quite good enough. It's not quite where he probably wanted it to be at the start of the offseason versus what had happened at the beginning of the regular season, but also just from the progression of the season as it goes on. Mentioned that injuries and kind of relationships between the receivers and Arch Manning did affect how the passing game went this year. It took Arch a long time to even get Ryan Wingo acquitted, which is something that probably should have happened in training camp. Parker Livingston was really the only receiver he was comfortable with early in the year, and then you finally get Mosley back. Still, those players are having drop issues in a game. On top of drops, you're not running the ball effectively. I think back to the Travion Wisner play where he runs in, it would have been a 3rd and 4, and then suddenly it's a 3rd and 12 because he runs 8 yards backwards. That's one that Sarkisian even addressed is like, hey, sometimes you have to accept that your run's just going to go for a yard. 3rd and 4 is much more manageable than 3rd and 12, Joe. And I think Texas just found themselves doing too many of those 3rd and 4s into 3rd and 12s throughout the game, and that's where you're sitting at right now at 7-3 with 2 not free games, especially not in 2 weeks, but definitely not on Saturday coming up.
Yeah, we'll get to Arkansas in just a minute. I do want to go on the run game. That first drive, a lot of success running the football, getting up the field, moving the line of scrimmage, and that's what it took to get those yards against Georgia. It's what it takes in this league. And then you just see, yes, the shape of the game did say, okay, this 4-point game became a 15-point game all of a sudden. That is true, and you do have to pass to get back into it. but like it doesn't just seem like there's any sort of run game that he believes in
Yeah.
at this point in the year. And even when it's right in front of him, it seems like there's just like this trepidation. It's like, I don't know if that's going to keep going and if that's going to keep working. Well, I know if I flip a coin and the coin lands up, then I can get 15 yards, or I can try to, get this right result 3 times in a row and get 10 on the ground. It's a problem that they have not been able to rectify, even though there seems to be some sort of evidence in front of them of certain aspects of the run game working.
Yeah, one thing that really stuck out to me in that press conference show, and it's Sark usually doesn't give you anything when it comes to being a little critical. That happens behind the scenes. But he said, if we're going to run the ball, we have to be comfortable with that turning into third and shorts. He's accepting that when Texas runs the ball, they're not going to move the chains in the first 2 runs. They're not going to get an 8-yarder and then a 4-yarder. We've only seen that really against Oklahoma this season. And so if your coach is already kind of saying out loud to the public, when we run the ball, we're going to have to be accepting of 3rd and 4s. We're going to be a 3-yard per carry team. It's tough to want to play call for that. And
Right.
at points they did do that in this game. That's what happened in that first drive. There were some runs that set them up for easy 3rd downs. But look at Georgia, how they finished this game. A lot of those first and 10 into 2nd and 4, into 1st and 10, into 2nd and 6, into 1st and 10. They weren't hitting 3rd downs because their short pass game, their run game, finding the flats was so effective against this Texas defense. And either the running backs aren't allowing for that, the offensive line isn't allowing for that, the drops are showing up, a little bit of inaccuracy from Manning. Altogether means that Texas can't find themselves in these 3rd and shorts, and they're not converting them.
Yeah, I don't think it's panic, but it's impatience. And he's mentioned that so often throughout his tenure, and here it is again. So, and he did acknowledge, okay, maybe the play caller needs a little bit of work too.
Yeah.
He did say that, but recurring issues. Talk about some of those recurring issues and where that has Texas right now. 7-3. Again, we were talking playoff hopes, kind of on the ventilator. We'll see if it's still plugged in, how much battery's left. A lot of Texas fans just see 3 losses and think, done, season's over, whatever, who cares? The team can't operate that way. And so Sark was asked a little bit about how do you keep going with this game and with this season, even though, and he bristled at this, even though fan expectations were a lot higher. He basically kept talking about how this game is the one they need to have. You lose everything if you get to 4 losses, and you lose a lot more momentum that you've built up over these past couple of years if you get to 4 losses this week against Arkansas. So he talked a lot about seeing what he liked, what he saw, at least from the team meeting, and who knows what he got from practice right after the meeting, right before this press conference, but liked what he saw and understanding that Arkansas is going to be an opponent that does challenge them.
Yeah, Arkansas has lost 6 straight, I believe, but all of those losses are within a score. A lot of 1-pointers, a lot of 3-pointers. This is one of those games that's setting up to really trap Texas, a team that's kind of down on themselves, the public is down on them, and then you got Arkansas, who they're just fighting to keep playing. They just want to win a game here with an interim head coach, some players that are probably fighting for NIL checks down the line. So this Arkansas team is not going to come into Austin and just kind of crumble and let Texas win this game. They have an extremely high-powered offense. Taylon Green's a fantastic quarterback. Petrino's got them in these games against real teams like your Ole Misses, and that's the kind of games that Texas has been losing at points in the Sarkisian era. So a big thing is just let's finish this season 9-3. Let's go 3-0 against our rivals, Joe. At some point, as football fans, we've kind of lost that idea that there are other victories in the season that aren't just making it to the national championship or the SEC championship or the college football playoff. Texas going 9-3 with 3 wins over your rivals and that win over Vanderbilt, who was top 10 at the time, is at least something to build off of, and it's something you can take into the season. But that doesn't happen if you don't go and win on Saturday.
Quick timeout. If you have a move coming up in the Dallas area, put real estate agent Josh Holden in your starting lineup. He's a UT grad, a lifetime Texas Ex, and he scouted every inch of the Metroplex. From Highland Park and Preston Hollow to Uptown and Old East Dallas, Josh Holden knows the market, and he's going to match you with the perfect home. On top of that, he has years of experience in commercial property management, so he has the playbook for contracts, curb appeal, and everything in between. Bottom line, Josh Holden is an easy win. He is reliable, savvy, and he helps you close with confidence. Reach him at josh@joshholdenrealestate.com, or you can call or text 972-917-8081. Contact info is in the description.
No, I'm with you. And again, like you mentioned, you're not in the playoff contention like you like in the SEC championship contention you like. There is value to playing and beating your rivals. You got to celebrate that, but it's down the list. It's not where you want. It's in silver. It's not in gold because you're not playing for the gold. So definitely still valuable. And like Sark mentioned, like you mentioned, This is a team that's just lost a bunch of single-digit games. I think most, if not all, of their SEC games have been single-digit games. Most of them one possession. Their only blowout was really against not Vanderbilt, Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And that's the one that got Sam Pittman fired. Bobby Petrino can call plays. Bobby Petrino can get these guys scoring points. They got good wide receivers, a good quarterback, a good rusher. Like, the offense is not the problem with this Arkansas team. If they're not careful, that 28-ish point average that Arkansas has had over the past season, I guess to say, could come up and bite them. The other thing is Arkansas, they give up points too. You see why Bobby Petrino cleared out that defensive staff as soon as he got elevated. This has been the big issue. It's probably why Sam Pittman got fired. And Texas, this is an opportunity for them to really try to find cures for what has ailed them in the run game and the pass game against Arkansas.
Yeah, I do think this is a completely winnable game for Texas.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's a reason that Arkansas is near the bottom of this SEC conference. But if your offense is playing this poorly at times in the year, it's hard to have full confidence of a team like Texas, because they should be able to score 30-plus against an Arkansas team. And, hey, you win 35-28, at least you're winning. And that's what Texas just needs to end the season. But they need to be able to both exploit the bad of the Arkansas defense, but also know that, I believe it's Quincy Rhodes is a first-round pass rusher. Even Steve Sarkisian noted it. They have a guy who is going to terrorize a bad offensive line if he gets the chance to. So how are you going to address him? How are you going to stay ahead of the chains with the run game and the short pass game? It's what they tried to do against Georgia. They did in the first drive, but then drives 2 through 4 ended with punts and an interception. So how are you going to respond to a bad game against Georgia into a very much a trap game against an inferior team, but a team that's just jonesing for a win, Joe? They have everything in front of them to go just get that win and play for themselves and play for their interim head coach and play for their future careers in college football. So it's a hard game to have to go into after Georgia, because while everyone's writing it off, you know that Arkansas is going to come in full force and you have to defend your home turf.
Yeah, 2:30 game here. Being on home turf is probably going to help them.
Yeah.
So it should be a lot of fun to track. We're going to be tracking that all this week here on the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel. So like the video, subscribe to the channel. Then, of course, head to InsideTexas.com. Use that first link in our description. Sign up for just $1. Get all the different things Inside Texas offers, not only over the course of these last 2 games for whatever follows, but also National Signing Day and what should be a fun month of December. Maybe not the same type of fun we thought, but one still fun nonetheless. So thank you for watching. This has been the Inside Texas Press Conference Reaction here live outside of Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium.